Adam Smith, the voice of boxing, is alongside Sam and myself this morning as we've been poring over the 17-second statement from Tyson Fury that he's retiring. Simon, you keep on throwing this one into the conversation, but Piers Morgan, you want Piers Morgan to do what?
Well, listen, I mean, I'm a bit worried about Piers because obviously he's leaving News Corp and he might need a few quid. So he's got £1 million bet. Tyson Fury, with his big mouth, says things, and he said to Piers Morgan on that show after the Dillian White fight, I will bet you £1 million that I'd retire. And paid it. Because it's easy to say things and not have any consequence. So if I'm Piers Morgan, I'm double or quits.
Yeah.
Okay then. If you're retiring now, I'll double or quits it. You haven't paid me £1 million, so I've got nothing to lose anyway. I'll drag you into the public domain for the nature of your outlook.
Listen, while we're on the subject, did you ever get your £100 from Derek Chisora?
Chisora? No chance.
No chance. Are you telling Adam, myself, and all the listeners this morning, though, and everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook, good morning to you all, that you won't miss Fury for one moment, and you would not miss Fury up against AJ?
But at some point, everything evolves, and you're going to lose Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk or Anthony Joshua. So whether it's today or in a year's, I think there's far more exciting things going on in boxing as a result of the Saudis' intervention, because we get to listen to the wonderful Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn about what they're doing. None of it's being done by them. All of it's being done by Turki Al-Sheikh. These guys couldn't make a fight for 15 years. Now all of a sudden they are the leading lights again. Look, I think there's far more interesting things going on. Tyson Fury will occupy a great deal of attention because the marquee division is the heavyweight division. But when you look at the fight card on February the 22nd and you look at the scale of fights that are being put on and you look at the fact that walking in at the beginning of the fight card is Josh Boazzi versus Callum Smith, and look at that as the depth of the fight card, you think to yourself, wow, look at the scale of what's happening in boxing. Tyson Fury the only reason he did it yesterday is because he wants this. He wants this attention.
This discussion.
If he wants a light shone on him, open a fridge door.
Dubois and Parker kicked off a bit because... Do you remember what happened in Riyadh just before Christmas when Daniel Dubois decided to vault into the ring and say to Usyk, all right, I'm calling you out? This was Dubois and Parker yesterday.
After the Fury-Usyk fight, Daniel Dubois caused a bit of a stir. He got in the ring and he challenged Alexander Usyk whilst having a fight scheduled with Joseph Parker. What was going through your head as that happened?
Ask him what was going through his head when he was doing that.
Daniel, what was going through your head when you challenged Usyk, considering you had a fight with Joe Parker? Joe wants to know.
It's all about making noise. This is show business, so that's who I want next. First, I've got to get through this guy.
So that was about making noise. That's not you overlooking Joe Parker.
No way. I'm going to do a demolition job on him first, and then I want Usyk next. I'm ready for it, and I'm on a roll, so, bring him on.
He might be looking too far ahead, planning big fights, other big fights, but you got to fight right in front of you right now.
No, ask him. I got my mind firmly set on you.
They
You're
better
the
be.
next man. Hey?
They better be.
Adam Smith with Simon and myself. Adam, what's it disrespectful for Daniel to jump in the ring? I mean, this is what goes on in boxing, isn't it?
I thought it was slightly ill-timed. I love Daniel Dubois. I think he's a fantastic fighter, an incredible story. Great seeing him win a big award on Saturday night. I think he's got a huge future. I think he's got a really dangerous fight in front of him with Joseph Parker. It's a fight I absolutely love. I just think, he probably shouldn't have used that moment. It was a moment for Alexander Usyk. It was a moment really for Usyk and Fury to finish 24 rounds. And I think Dubois could have just waited. Also, he has this big fight against Parker, so wasn't quite sure it was the right time, but I have no problem with him saying that he wants to take on all comers. That's terrific, just so long as he's got all eyes on Parker, which I know he has. He works extraordinarily hard at Don Charles's farm gym, and last time I saw him was a few weeks back, just off his holiday from Brazil. He already looked in brilliant shape. But Joe Parker, I've spent a lot of time with him over the last 6-9 months, and he has put on a bit of muscle. He really fancies this fight. He's got momentum. Him and Andy Lee have got an incredible bond going together. He's got nothing to lose. He's got no pressure on him. I think this is it's a humdinger, and it's not even the main event. What a night, February 22nd.
It is indeed. What a night it's going to be. You think Dubois by a distance to beat
I do.
Parker.
I mean, I like Joseph Parker. I really like him. I think as he's evolved under Andy Lee to being a more aggressive fighter than the one that fought Anthony Joshua back in 2018 when he took the good fight. I think the referee spoiled that fight to some extent, but notwithstanding it, I think that people are basing a lot of it. I was there, you were there. He got blasted out by Joe Joyce. He hit Joe Joyce with everything but a kitchen sink, and then Joe Joyce stepped up again, knocked him out. He's been dropped twice by Zhilei Zhang. Daniel Dubois hits as hard as anybody in the division, if not harder, and he's a live one now. Zhilei Zhang is 42 years of age, right, and a different commodity than Daniel Dubois. I think Daniel Dubois is now at the point that people forecast he would be at 4 or 5 years ago. He's gone about it in a very circumvented way in terms of the challenges that he's had. He's gone into fights against Usyk probably earlier than he was ready to do. The Joyce loss was a bit of a shock to him, I think, and the blowback as a result of it that came with people questioning him, the heavyweight fraternity, people like David Hay saying he swallowed it and so on and so forth. Then the questions after the Usyk fight, whether he swallowed it again. And the Hrgovic fight, for me, despite the fact he shipped more punishment than I'd like him to ship, was a coming of age. And then he destroyed Anthony Joshua. The mentality that he walked into the ring, I was talking to Josh Boazzi about he watched Daniel Dubois walk into that ring like a man on a mission, not fazed by the 94,000 people that were there to anoint Anthony Joshua. I think, like Duke McKenzie does, and I listen to Duke McKenzie a lot, he'll get knocked out, Parker, in this fight.
Adam, one thing I've worked out about boxing, the quiet guys, the respectful guys don't really get a look in. They don't really get noticed. Beterbiev's about to go in against Bivol again. And they're not even, there's hardly a conversation about them. And the first fight was phenomenal.
Great fight, wonderful.
And Beterbiev showed us all what he can do.
It's brilliant to have the rematch on so soon. I thought Bivol won that fight. I thought the wrong guy went home with the treasure, but I'm a big Beterbiev fan as well. Let's see them go again. I think what it just shows is what a card this is, February the 22nd. I was talking to Michael Buffer a few days ago, and we were just thinking about a card that could match up to this, going through Don King's ones and many of old, even Frank Warren's, like Eddie Hearn's at times, but this is extraordinary, as Simon said, with Callum and Joshua starting the show, and it's just unbelievable. I saw Virgil Ortiz the other night. Hamza Shiraz has got a massive opportunity. The Zhilei Zhang Cabell fight is brilliant. It's just a fantastic card, and I think Dubois does start a big favourite against Parker, but if he hasn't got Parker out of there within 5 or 6 rounds, it gets very, very interesting. As far as Bivol and Beterbiev go, does Beterbiev know that Bivol can't hurt him? Does that make him a little bit more of a favourite this time? Possibly, but I can't wait for it again.
I agree with you about February 22nd, and what we're going to see is just off the scale. Having said that, Turki Al-Sheikh on Twitter yesterday, what does he mean by this? Prepare soon for announcing the biggest schedule for the year in boxing history. Something else is coming. Is Fury going to feature on that?
I think there'll be a big show in March. Obviously, Bacoli's coming back. I think we're looking to Eubank and Ben announcement very soon, back end of April. I think we'll get another 5v5 of some sorts. And look, I think Fury Joshua will happen this year. I think it will be probably the biggest boxing year yet, or certainly for some time. Let's enjoy it.
Excellent. Adam, you are the best.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.